Ladies and gentlemen, our inductee, Richard Hayes. The young Marshall County 4-H Club member, Richard Hayes, is given a certificate for an average yield of 102 bushels of corn on his 2-acre 4-H corn project. Assistant County Agent Ralph L. Shura is shown presenting the certificate to the son of Mr. and Mrs. O.K. Hayes. Soon he was in junior high school playing basketball. There he is, number 23 on the back row, right side. The lanky lad from Douglas High School made the Marshall County All-Tournament basketball team as a junior. He averaged 13 points per game. As a junior, he was selected for Boys State. In 1963, the big 6'3" senior averaged 16 points per game while earning all-county and all-area tournament teams. This is his picture from the senior yearbook, one of the most popular and well-liked students, and he served as president of the senior class. The Eagles of 1963, coached by Cecil Pruitt. Left to right, the manager Tommy Garrett, 33 Gary Morgan, 21 Danny Teal, 35 Larry Gonalds, 25 A.L. Bonds, 55 Jimmy Scott, 31 Richard Hayes, 43 Wade Lang, 11 Gary Wigley, 45 Ather Bowen, 15 Douglas Carroll, and the manager Buddy Bain. The 1963 senior class officers seated on the left is President Hayes, and then there's A.L. Bonds. On the back row, left to right, Jimmy Brown, Jeanette Teal, Danny Teal, Rex Kilpatrick, and Helen Brothers Lambert. Richard Hayes graduated from Jacksonville State University in 1967. His postgraduate degrees include a master's and an education specialist from Jack State. In 1967, Hayes started a long career in teaching, coaching, and administration. He was a Douglas teacher and a junior high 7th, 8th, and 9th grade basketball coach from 1967 to 1969. During this time, the Young Eagles won 130 while losing 38. Hayes was promoted in 1970 to the Douglas High School head varsity basketball coach. The fall of 1970 found Hayes and his assistant basketball coach Kenneth Adams helping the head football coach George Hoblitzel field the first Douglas football squad. The Eagle basketball teams from 1970 to 74 compiled a record of 70 and 48, highlighted with a third-place finish in the 1971 Class 2A state tournament. Led by All-State players Sherwin Wigley and Ted Lax, the 1971 Eagles were 22-10. They were only the third team in the school's history to make the state tournament. Bill Yancey of WTWX gave reports from Tuscaloosa and broadcast the Douglas games on the state network. Here they are, kneeling left to right: David Wilson, Mike Wilson, Rex Mitchell, Philip Burgess, Dale Johnson. Standing left to right, Danny Shirley, Sherwin Wigley, David Kelly, Ted Lax, Larry Gibson, and Paul Gardner. Here they are, the district champs, heading to Tuscaloosa. And here we have two of the coaches and another player not in the previous picture. The last three standing on the right side: player Buster Stone, coach Kenneth Adams, and head coach Hayes. The basketball awards and honors for 1971, the A-team: Danny Shirley, All-Area; David Kelly, leading rebounder; Ted Lax, All-County, All-Area, All-State, Most Improved Player; and Sherwin Wigley, All-County, All-Area, All-State, Most Valuable Player. And Sherwin set a state record of 85 points in 3 games. Sherwin Wigley, Douglas High School basketball star, signed a scholarship with Snead State Junior College. Wigley, a 6'2" guard, had a 24 points per game average and collected 9 rebounds per game. He made all Marshall County 2 years, all Region 2 years, All-State in 71, and the Birmingham Post Herald All-State second team. Wigley, at the time of this signing with Snead College, was the holder of 5 state tournament scoring records, shown here with coaches John Kitchens of Snead and coach Richard Hayes of Douglas. The years went by, with Hayes being the last coach to carry a Douglas team to the state tournament. The coach was once quoted as saying, "This is a distinction I'd like for someone to end." 35 years later, along comes his oldest grandson, Brandon Brothers, helping lead the 2007 Eagles to the state championship game. Brandon, an all-tournament selection, felt the agony of defeat in the championship game by a 3-point margin to Madison Kemp. At the end of his head coaching career in 1974, Hayes had accumulated 200 victories and 86 losses. He spent the next 29 years in administration, which ended in 2002. Hayes had served as principal of the following schools: Claysville Junior High, West End Elementary of Albertville, and DAR Middle School. From 1985 to 1995, he was an assistant superintendent of Marshall County Schools. Hayes has three daughters, Kelly, Misty, and Richie, who were all Douglas cheerleaders. Misty was the most valuable player for 2 years in county and area volleyball. She later played for Gadsden State on a full scholarship. Misty is married to the Albertville basketball coach Patrick Harding. Richie, the youngest daughter, received a cheerleading scholarship to Snead, and after a year transferred to Alabama for 3 years of cheerleading on full scholarship. This picture was Misty as a senior at Douglas, signing on with Gadsden State. In her two final seasons, the Lady Eagles compiled a record of 59-8, including 34-2 in her senior campaign. Standing from the left, Misty's mother, June, Gadsden State head coach Francis Intricate, and Misty's father, Richard. Daughter Kelly is the mother of the oldest grandson, the all-county basketball star Brandon Brothers. Richard has a stepdaughter, Sabrina, and his wife is Margaret. They have 7 grandchildren. Jeff Sims and Douglas High School principal Sarah Mitchell unfold a banner dedicated to the school's 1970-71 basketball team during a ceremony honoring the players and the coaches. This took place in November of 2004, and by the way, Principal Mitchell is the wife of one of the players, Rex Mitchell, from the 1971 Eagles. The 1971 Eagle Legends, they were present at that 2004 Spotlight. On this picture, kneeling from the left, is Larry Wilson representing his late brother David. Next to him is Mike Wilson. Then we have Rex Mitchell in the middle on the front row. There's Dale Johnson and Buster Stone. Standing from left to right, the head coach Richard Hayes, Danny Shirley, Sherwin Wigley, David Kelly, Ted Lax, Larry Gibson, Paul Gardner, and assistant coach Kenneth Adams. Philip Burgess was unable to attend. One last look then in 1971, the Eagle Legends. Today, Hayes is an instructor of adult education at Northeast Community College. Basketball season finds Coach Hayes cheering for his favorite teams, Douglas and Albertville. Here is grandson Brandon Brothers in action against the Aggies in the county tournament 2007. Brandon number 3 on the fast break. The grandson Brandon plays for Douglas, while the son-in-law Patrick is the head coach of the Albertville varsity. The Eagles beat the Aggies in the 2007 Marshall County Championship game. The family feud took 3 overtimes. Ladies and gentlemen, our inductee, Richard Hayes.
I may have to do something different. Thank you, John. This means a lot to me. This is a tremendous honor. First thing I'd like to do is to thank the Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame, your members and the staff for this wonderful banquet. Everything about it, from the communication that I received, the media coverage, and the wonderful food tonight was just great. So let's give them a hand. Y'all been sitting for a long time. Let's stand and give them a hand. If you'd like to stand, that'll be fine. I want to give special thanks tonight to my children for the nomination for these to this award, and to the selection committee of the Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame for voting in my favor on this award. I remember in the late fall, I received a telephone call from John Allen, the man that presented the plaque to me. And John and I have been friends for a long time. And when he called, I recall talking to some of the other guys that I play golf with. John had not felt very well. And I actually thought that he was wanting to play golf. And that was our conversation for a little while about how he was doing. And in the discussion, he said, well, I've got something to tell you. Said, you've been nominated and selected to be in the Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame. Well, I heard that, and immediately I thought of a few people that I knew had been inducted into the Hall of Fame. And that's all I could think of. I just didn't feel like I fit, you know. So we had a lengthy discussion, but as my wife will tell you, sometimes I will hear only one word. And later on, I'll get back into this discussion, and I have to back up to find out what we were talking about. But John did a real good job of informing me about the Hall of Fame. When I finally came to my senses, I said, well, John, who else is on this group that's going to be inducted tonight? Well, he told me the folks, and it just so happened that made me so proud. I know most of these people personally, and it was just a warm feeling because I had such a personal relationship with some of them. I had watched their athletic achievements, their coaching achievements earlier in life, and so I felt very good about it. I think it was the next day, I got on the internet and just looked up who is in the Hall of Fame, or the ones that had been previously nominated and had been inducted. And I was at awe at these people and their athletic accomplishments, both men and women, for what they had done in athletics. And I was being asked or being told that I was going to be inducted into this Hall of Fame. I just couldn't believe it. And tonight's award just signifies to me the greats of Marshall County. And I am just so proud, basically, to have my name mentioned with these folks. As I am holding this plaque and I saw the video, you know, it seems to be an individual award, something that I did. But I had a lot of help. I had many supporters, my family, my teammates at Douglas High School, my assistant coaches that worked with me at Douglas High School, the principals that I served under and their support, but least of all, the kids that I coached. All should have a part of this. Now, as Bill Yancey spoke in the video, and the guys put together so well, this was perfect timing, this award for me, because in my receiving this award, so many excellent athletes at Douglas High School was recognized. I was able to coach 7 years at Douglas. My first 3 years was as a junior high coach, and we had, I coached 3 teams. At that particular time, it was a 9th, 8th, and 7th grade team. I was very fortunate. In my 4th year of coaching, or following my 3rd, my 4th, I was promoted to the head coach at Douglas High School. And I had the opportunity to coach the kids that I had coached previously. So I had a big advantage, and these are all great kids. The team of 1970-71 that was mentioned that made it to the state tournament, in those days there was 4 classifications, and we were a 2A team. We made the Elite 8 and made it to Tuscaloosa. These kids played very, very hard, was a good representative of Marshall County sports and basketball. They won their first game. We were in the Final Four, and we were thrilled to death. This was a tournament where you played 3 games right in a row, 3 nights. Our second night, we had a good game. We were doing everything perfect, and then everything went awfully wrong, and we lost. Those kids came back in a consolation match that basically they didn't want to play. Nobody playing in a consolation wanted to play. But this was a state tournament, and we were proud to be there. And these kids played off so well, and they beat a really good section team, and I'm sure section didn't want to play either. But it was one of the best ball games that we had. The recognition of this team, and then the run of the Douglas Eagles this year, and what they did in making it after 36 years. No other Douglas team had made it to the state tournament again in basketball until this year. And that run of those kids and what they did, and making it to the Final Four and eventually ending up as the runner-up in the state, was great. What made it such perfect timing for me, my grandson, was Brandon Brothers. I am so proud of my family. And I'm sorry for this, that I kind of break down, but every time I think about them, and I just can't help it. Again, thank you. This is a quite an honor for me, and this is going to be a treasure in my life.